But I think that's it for me, Kefka. Whenever you're ready to go, feel free to introduce yourself and let's get started.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Kefka14. I'm going to be running a few things for you today, but we're going to be starting off with Chameleon Twist. There was a bid war for which character to play as. There is no actual in-game difference between all of these different characters that you see here, but the bid war was won by Jack. So we're going to be playing as Jack. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to give the countdown. In 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is Chameleon Twist Any Percent. I'm playing on the Japanese version. There's a few minor differences in the game that makes the Japanese version the optimal version for Any Percent. I'll kind of note them as we get to them. The first stage here is Jungle Land. It's a very short stage, very, very short. This game in general is not very long at all. But that being said, this stage has one of the largest skips in the game towards the end of it. And it's a very cool skip. I'm not quite sure if it's frame perfect or close to or what, but it is fairly tricky. Beyond that, you'll see the big movement gimmick in this game is the Chameleon's tongue. We can use it to swing around poles and do a variety of kind of different platforming and movement things that normally isn't in a 3D platformer like this. See, you saw right there. One minor difference is in the English version of the game, the water that I just jumped over doesn't actually push you. So you don't have to jump on those rocks. All right. Cool, first try. That's actually really good. So that's Door Clip. It started being used in runs in around 2019. And it cuts out half of this entire stage. So it saves like more than a minute easily. So that's the first stage. No joke. For some reason, that boss's name canonically is the Lizard King. We have no idea why, because he's clearly not a lizard. Probably not a king either, but you know. So, second stage is Bombland. Now, there are 6 stages in this game, but you only have to do 4 of them to clear the game. You have to do the first stage, then either stage 2 or 3, then either stage 4 or 5, and then you have to do stage 6. So, as such, we do the shortest stages naturally. This is Bombland. It's true to its name. There's lots of bombs everywhere. You'll see some pretty cool strats here. So right there, if you noticed, I walked through a door and I immediately shot. I actually was already holding the input to shoot my projectile as soon as I walked through the door. Essentially, I buffered the input, which is something you'll see a few times in this run when it's applicable. So we got good RNG there. These cannonballs that are firing towards me, they're kind of their movements are RNG more or less, and we got good RNG. Managed to grab one, which makes this room a little bit faster. So coming up is probably one of the scarier looking things in the game. I may miss it. I did not. It's a pretty tricky jump because the camera turns with you. Then we have a frame perfect trick that I got first try. Nice. And then I decided to take the risky way, and it did not pay off for us, unfortunately. I fell into the abyss. That certainly cost us a little bit of time, but nothing crazy. This game's super short. So now we're going to go for another frame perfect door clip to skip the puzzle in this room. First try. Cool. Yeah, in that second cannon room where I fell, I was kind of playing with fire. It's RNG, and I should have just taken the safety route on the side. So this boss is one of the biggest differences between US and Japanese. In Japanese, you can kill him in one shot, which is really cool. And as such, it's very, very short. The English version of the boss is a bit longer. English 1.0, I should say. There is a 1.1 version of this game for some strange reason. Something interesting to note about this game as a speed game is people have been running this since 2004, which is really crazy when you think about it. Like, I don't even know if people were running, like, Halo then. I don't know. Then again, Halo hadn't been out as long as this game at that point. Anyway, this is Kids Land. So Kids Land is by far the hardest stage in the game, both speedrunning wise and casually. There's a few rooms in this stage where there's moving platforms, and those platforms are on like a global timer. So as soon as we load into the stage, those platforms begin moving. And part of getting a good run of this stage is just getting to those rooms at the ideal time. Unfortunately, that means getting some good RNG. Really cool shot buffer right there in that room. Anyway, that means getting some good RNG in the next room that we're going into. We'll see what happens. Okay. We still might be able to make it. We didn't get the best RNG. The order of those platforms is random. We still actually made it, which is pretty shocking, but that's a good thing. So you're supposed to shoot these guys in the front to make them scoot back, but you can jump around them. You can jump around them without taking damage, but I messed it up. Small time loss, but nothing too crazy. Some pretty cool movement in this room. And then the next RNG room, which will determine how the stage really goes. Unfortunately, we got pretty much the worst pattern we could get, where our final platform is the one furthest away from the exit. Super unfortunate, but it's not a huge time loss. I mean, it's significant. We can't world record, but it's fine. So now we're on what we like to call normal cycle, meaning RNG just really wasn't good enough to get us on a faster kind of global cycle in this stage. This room here is pretty interesting. Do a corner jump and come over here. I'm going to play it a little safe right here. And then the final room of Kids Land, which is, to be honest, probably the hardest stage in the game as a whole. Yep, we're going to have to wait. That's okay. So you can get here at the ideal time and not have to wait, obviously. Now, will we get the glitch? We did not. So when you walk through that door, you have exactly a single frame to pause the game. So it's a frame perfect trick that I missed. Saves about 11 seconds on the run overall, but we missed it, which is pretty common. It's a very tricky trick to hit. And the reason we're saving our game and exiting is because we're going to utilize a glitch. If you save game in a boss room and go into training mode, then reload, you can move during the cutscene that introduces the boss. This allows us to do a quick kill on the third boss of the game. Which I got, actually. Very, very hard quick kill to do. We call that 4 Kids, because the name of the enemy that I was eating there are called Chocolate Kids. Getting a world record means getting the best possible RNG in this stage for the most part, and getting both of the tricks on the boss, including the frame perfect pause. As such, it's a major roadblock for runs at the high level of this game. So this is the final level. We're already basically at the end of the game. This is Ghost Castle. It's pretty straightforward. There's one really difficult trick at the end. I'm going to attempt it twice, and if I miss it twice, I'm just going to continue onward. It's one of those tricks that I either get it first try, or I'll just miss it 15 times in a row. I'm sure you all know what those are like. But I figure I'll at least try it twice. If it wasn't at the main end of the run, it would be a bit less risky, I suppose. So in this room here, this room's a bit different in the Japanese version. There's less candles, so there's less enemies to have to dodge. But as a result, there's also less flames that we can get. And we want to take a few with us for some later puzzles in the stage, including this room, which is RNG. And we got bad RNG there. It was the second mirror, unfortunately. A shot buffer. Oh, that stinks. we missed one. You can skip this last platform. Now, there is a way to jump straight over the center of this, but it's very difficult to do, and I'm not going to do it in a marathon run. Only loses about 2 seconds not to go for it. That stinks. The hitboxes on these candles is somewhat finicky, and it's also worth noting that these platforms don't exactly have set positions. Oh, I fell! No! That's terrible. Oh well. These platforms don't exactly have set positions, though. They will always be the same amount vertically from each other, but they'll always be horizontally, like, slightly shifted in some manner, which is, it's really strange. So you can just get terrible luck and not be able to make a jump occasionally, although it's pretty uncommon. Alright, last RNG room. Well, sort of. And of course, we got the worst possible RNG. 4th mirror. Terrible. So here, you can get around this guy by holding straight against this wall. And this is the final room of the game. I'm going to go for the difficult trick twice. Got it. Oh, we almost got it first try. That's okay. I'll try one more time, and then we'll just go on. Second try. Not bad. All right. And we're on the final boss. That trick is very difficult. We call it Cuss Vault. Very, very small amount of geometry for you to land on to do that jump off of. Very tricky. So this is the first phase of the final boss. It has 2 phases. And there's the first phase. That was a perfect first phase, actually. Time will be coming up in the next 15 to 20 seconds, maybe, hopefully. This phase is RNG. Wow, terrible RNG. And... nope, not time. My apologies. Sometimes this guy will just troll you. And he's trolling me on this run. He's trolling me hard. That's okay. He's trolling me very hard. We're getting terrible patterns. Alright, here we go. This is it. Time. Sorry for the lack of warning.
That's all right. Great run there, Kefka. Thank you very much. Good stuff. So any final notes about Chameleon Twist? Otherwise, since you got the next run up, we can probably go ahead and hop on into that.
All right. Well, definitely run Chameleon Twist. It's a great run for beginners. It's short. It's easy to learn, but it has a high skill ceiling. There are a lot of very difficult tricks in the game for those who want to really hone their gameplay, and it's a much more active leaderboard than what some people would probably suspect. So, yeah. I'll be running WCW NWO Revenge here in just a moment, so thanks for tuning in to Chameleon Twist